So, as most of you know, if you followed the channel from when it was created about 3 months ago, one of my very first reviews was Superman 2025, written and directed by James Gunn. So when I saw that it was coming back out on HBO Max and I was going to get the opportunity to watch it for a second time, I was pretty excited because there was a lot of things that I still kind of had questions on, and I still had some kind of rose-tinted glasses, I would say, to say the least. Rewatching it for the second time, this is it's a movie. It does some stuff. It does some things that I didn't quite remember exactly from watching it for the first time. I think I was just very excited to see a superhero movie that was made by DC and it didn't look to be absolute shit. But after rewatching it, there's a lot of things that I saw that I didn't like. No matter how much I wanted to, no matter how much I wanted this movie to be amazing, it's just not amazing. I want to start off with the positives. And I think this movie does not work with any other actor playing Superman. David Cornsweet is by far my favorite representation of Superman, not interpretation. And that's a very important distinction to make because the interpretation of the character I don't exactly love, but I like what David Cornsweet brings to it. I like that he's able to be this strong, forceful presence embodying the Superman character when he's wearing the costume. And I also really, really like how he took specific care and attention to the character of Clark Kent and made them feel very different. By far the best scene in the entire movie is that interview that Lois does with Superman in their apartment. It perfectly encapsulates everything I'm talking about with his representation of Superman. Love it. Chef's kiss. Just perfection. And on the topic of Lois Lane, I think Rachel Brosnahan does an amazing job. I don't really like the Lois Lane character in all of the comics and animated shows and movies that I've watched. I've always found whenever they introduce a Lois Lane storyline, almost always feel that it slows down the movie in the film or whatever I'm reading, and it kind of just grinds the pacing to a halt. So I always kind of loathe the Lois Lane storylines. In this movie, they did it in a way that I think was really, really good. And I liked her character a lot, and I think the actress did a phenomenal job. And keeping with the performances, I still maintain that Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, is one of the best characters in the film. And I didn't really touch on it very much in my review because there was a lot of thoughts going through my head. But upon watching it for the second time, Nathan Fillion is a standout in this movie. And that's kind of like leading me into one of the biggest gripes and the problems that I have with this film is it doesn't feel like a Superman movie in the way that it should. It had so many distractions. We had the Jimmy Olsen storyline of him being a chick magnet, which was strange. We had Mr. Terrific doing a solo mission with Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane. We had Guy Gardner and the Justice Gang being introduced and taking a lot of the limelight and even getting their own final battle in the movie. We had Crypto being kind of a nuisance but kind of lovable, and I'm not going to hate on the dog, I promise. I actually thought he was really cool. It was, I don't know, there was just a lot of distractions, and it kind of took away from the overall Superman that I wanted to see in this film because it was, titled Superman, and I just wanted to see more of him and more of this version of the character. And speaking of versions of characters, I have to talk about Lex Luthor, and this is going to be kind of a hard one for me because it's a little nuanced in the way that I really like what Nicholas Hoult did. I think it's a younger, youthful, more modern take on Lex Luthor, and I liked that. I just didn't like what the script and what the overall story did for the character. I think this movie would have been much, much better, much more impactful, and much more interesting if they would have set up Lex's motivations at all. And you might be thinking, well, they did. They had him tell you that he was jealous of Superman, and they had him have a political agenda, and they had him try to do an overthrow of a government. You could see his motivations, and you'd be right. But my point is, they tell you everything. They have him give exposition dumps. That's kind of the cardinal sin, I think, in almost every form of visual media, is telling and not showing. I think this would have been incredibly impactful if we could have seen Superman crash land, or maybe we saw him lose his first fight in Metropolis. Imagine this. Oh my God, imagine. Imagine this movie opens with Superman in Metropolis fighting somebody that you think he's easily going to be able to take. And then the fight kind of turns and you see him kind of get beat up and you see him kind of take some hits and you're like, what's happening right now? And then he loses and he crash lands in the Arctic. And then we get a smash cut to Lex watching it all happen and having like kind of an epiphany that this god that came down from the sky, the thing that everybody reveres and thinks is perfection, is actually fallible and he has weaknesses. And you see Lex kind of formulate in his mind how he can find the weaknesses within Superman with the absence of kryptonite. Everybody knows kryptonite takes him out. They established that kryptonite in this movie isn't a thing. So Lex has to get creative, and he has to find different ways and weaknesses and weak points in Superman to best him. I think that's much more interesting than him just saying, yeah, I hate this guy because he's an alien. It's just a mess, and I think it could have been done much more better, and they gave themselves the opportunity to do so, and they just kind of passed on it. With everything that I've said previously, I do still have faith in James Gunn because he is, this is going to sound really corny, but he is kind of one of us in the fact that he is a fan. Like, he grew up reading comics, he loves what he does, and he does put a lot of passion into it, and I don't want any of my critiques to really like negate the fact that he does care and he is doing his best. And I think that is probably the most important quality when you have somebody leading the project. Whether you like the movie or you don't, there will be attention to detail and there will be effort and there will be care given to the material, and I do think that'll shine through on the screen. So with that being said, I am excited for Superman 2. I am excited for the eventual Justice League movie. I'm very excited for the Green Lantern stuff that they're going to be doing, and I think the future is bright. I just hope that they watch reviews like this one or written reviews or whatever, and they take in the criticism and the feedback and they implement it going forward. Anyway, with all that said, I digress. I've been talking to a camera for 25 minutes straight, and I'm starting to lose my voice. So I want you guys to go in the comments below and let me know what you thought about this movie. Have you watched it for a second time, and did watching it for a second time change your opinion at all? Did you lose that rose-tinted glasses, or was it still exactly how you remembered it? Did you still love it? And if you want to have maybe a more extended discussion, I do have a live channel now. That's going to be linked in the description. It is TYLR Live. And I'm going to use that to do a weekly live stream at every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, in which I just talk about movie news. I'll have kind of a brief plan going into every one of them of the topics I kind of want to hit. And then after that, we can just have a discussion about, whatever is on our minds when it comes to movies, gaming, TV, like whatever you guys want to talk about. Should be a really fun time. And if you guys like this video, drop a like. It really does help me out, helps the channel out, helps it grow so we can find more people like me and you who love movies. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.